Hello, welcome back to Hawks Tarot. I'm Dr. Jennifer Hawks. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to ask the cards, what does Gemini need to see? So we'll start with the angel deck and see what we get, you guys. Okay, what does Gemini need to see, please? What does Gemini need to see, please? What does Gemini need to see? You got the Hermit out on its side. Okay, so you got the Hermit. And then you got the Ace of Earth and the Awakening card. Both came out in reverse. Okay. Some of you Geminis may actually need to kind of spend some time in quiet reflection, before taking a new offer or, making a new offer. Some of you may even be kind of like not really looking at things from a different perspective, but just trying to figure out where you stand on something, trying to figure out what you need to do to close cycles before you can make the steps necessary to move forward. Yeah. So you may need this quiet reflection time right now. You may be in this meditative state, in this state of self-discovery, before making any moves or before looking at your situation outside of what you've already come up with. Okay. Anything else for what Gemini needs to see right now? What does Gemini need to see right now? Ten of Fire. So too much work. Make sure that you accept help from others. This can also be about life being out of balance, there being a lot of stress. So that would make sense if you're, in that meditative state, in that place where you don't really have the energy or the desire to take new offers, make new offers, to go in a new direction. You're kind of looking at everything as it is right now and already feeling kind of burdened. Make sure because you've got the star on the bottom here, Gemini. So make sure that you do, think about positive, optimistic plans for yourself. As you do, spend that time looking at yourself, looking at your situation, looking within. You may feel the stress of everything that you have to do, but don't forget to include yourself in the equation, Gemini. Don't forget to include yourself in the grand scheme of what's going to make you happy in the long run. And look at your path from that perspective. Are you making the moves and doing the doing the things you need to do to bring joy into your life on a consistent basis? What's the Ten of Fire? What's Gemini stressed about or overburdened about? Queen of Fire. Are you burdened about putting yourself out there? Are you feeling like it would be too much for you to assert yourself, to stretch your wings fully? Do you feel like there's already too much going on and you don't necessarily have the energy or the desire or the drive right now to be that Queen of Fire, that confident, warm, graceful, intelligent, passionate energy? You may not feel like you have the you may not feel like you have the energy because of too much going on and being a little out of balance to kind of put yourself out there as a queen of fire. Now, some of you could be dealing with a queen of fire that's stressing you out. That could be a Leo, a Sag, an Aries. But I'm kind of getting this sensation that you yourself kind of almost want to put yourself out there as this queen of fire energy, but you don't have the current level of energy, determination, and strength to make that happen. Like you're holding yourself back from really spreading your wings because you've got too much already going on. I think you're just trying to to get your shit in order, right? To rest, to move on from things that don't serve you anymore, to keep your heart open, but to really focus on what's going to build stability for you. Okay. What's the Gemini, meditating on? Why is the Hermit here? 9 of air. So it was in reverse. So 9 of air in the reverse. So you're trying to not be anxious. You're trying to not, expect the worst. You're trying to look at things from a more positive perspective and see how to make this work for you with that level of stability, with that level of personal emotional fulfillment in all that you do for yourself and others. You're in this meditative state because you don't want, because maybe you've been challenged a little bit recently by some of the, self-fulfilling prophecies or some of the anxiety that's kind of crept back up for you. And so you're taking that moment to look at everything so before it becomes overwhelming, so that you don't look at it from a negative perspective. Yeah, you're in this kind of boss energy though, Gemini. And you want to maintain an emperor energy for yourself, but there's a lot going on and you're having trouble with kind of putting yourself out there, and you don't want to think negatively. So you're just kind of in this state right now where there's a lot going on. You're trying not to think negatively about it. You're trying to focus on how to bring balance. So you don't want to add too much new into your life right now because you're still trying to balance all of what you currently have going on. And a part of you wants to put yourself out there, but you don't feel like you can. You don't feel like you have enough F's to give currently, and you need to rest and reflect and make sure you are on the right path and make sure you do maintain this, this emperor energy. Yeah. Okay. Any advice for Gemini right now? Advice for Gemini, King of Fire, and 10 of water. So if you are dealing with a fire sign, it does look like a fire sign would bring you a lot of contentment. But this also can speak to, take the time that you need to rest and regroup. Because once you do feel that focus and that determination and that motivation to put yourself back out there and to be your charismatic, Gemini self, that's going to bring you a lot of emotional and material satisfaction all in one. you're going to have to remain positive and know that like the rough things that have happened, the rough times that you've gone through, that's over, right? You now have the option, or you are now in this position where you're contemplating everything, where you're a little hermited, you haven't quite put yourself back out there yet. But when you do take that time to rest and remain positive, you're gonna have this opportunity here to really communicate your vision for what you see for your life and create this happiness in your life that you've been working towards. But it's going to take you having that motivation and that idealism, as well as enough energy to make it happen, right? So the advice, what's burdening you is this Queen of Fire energy, right? And the advice is King of Fire and 10 of Water. So once you do kind of drop some of the burdens and allow yourself to feel confident, and you use that idealistic mindset of what you've been thinking about in this hermit mode, you use that to actually move forward, you're going to have a lot of happiness with this. It may take releasing some thought processes that aren't serving you. And, there may be time to move on from this hermit phase. And if you're ready for it, take the leap to put yourself back out there. If you're not ready for it, stay where you are and really focus on that self-discovery and what you want to bring into your life. But once you have that ideal and that ambition again, go for it, because it's actually going to bring you a lot of happiness, Gemini. Yeah. All right. Grabbing Osho Zen Tarot deck to see if they can add to this message here for what Gemini needs to see. What does Gemini need to see right now? What does Gemini need to see right now? Are you not trusting yourself, Gemini? You got trust and consciousness in the reverse. So that might be part of why you are in this hermit stage right now, is if you're just not trusting in the path or the plan, or you're just not trusting yourself, there might be a level of not feeling confident. Also, if you haven't been able to clear your mind because of the stress, then it's going to be hard to take an ambitious move forward, right? Because it's all going to feel very frazzled. Postponement and control on the bottom of the deck. Are you stopping yourself from taking this fiery move forward that would bring you a lot of happiness because that would almost feel out of control for you and you don't trust it yet? At least trust in yourself and your vision and your path. Yeah. How can Gemini better trust themselves right now? How can Gemini better trust themselves right now? I think you're going to have a sudden new vision for your life. And it's going to allow you the opportunity to integrate this new vision into how you've been doing things before, which will bring a level of harmony into your life. But I also want you to have an internal state of harmony. And, it's okay to look at the way that other people have done things, but know that the way you choose to do things isn't necessarily wrong if it is different than the way other people may have approached their business or their life or their relationships, right? The way that you are choosing to do it is exactly right for you. And you are going to have a sudden new vision that is going to bring a lot of ambition and motivation. But you're holding yourself back a little bit. And I think you're trying to go with the flow, even though you see that your vision, if you integrate that into the way that you've been doing things, would actually bring you a lot more peace. Also, Gemini, please make sure you're not comparing yourself to others, right? The way that your life is playing out is exactly the way that your life is supposed to play out. And we're going to hit bumps in the roads, and we're going to have certain times where there's a roadblock put up and we have to stop and, map out a new route. Or there's going to be moments that you're going to see the way that someone else has done something. And even if you don't agree with that, you're going to question yourself, right? Maybe I should have done it that way. No. You should have done it exactly the way that feels right to you. Because what's right for somebody else isn't necessarily right for you. And I don't want you to push yourself down a path that just ends up making you miserable. Okay. When will Gemini be ready to take a move forward? You got existence. So know that there's spirit guides, angels, ancestors looking out for you. Pay attention to the signs that you get, and you'll know when it's the right time, but you have to keep trusting. Because right now you're not necessarily trusting yourself, your intuition. And that might be part of what's holding you back a little bit, is just you're burdened. You're trying to look at maybe there's another way to do this. And you're going to come up with a really good idea that is going to allow you to integrate this vision into what you do. But make sure you trust yourself. You're going to have a breakthrough, Gemini. And it took this slowing down to have this rebirth for yourself, because you're still going to choose a righteous path. You're still going to choose to be a moral, upstanding person. You're still going to choose to be loving and kind and keep your heart open. And maybe you've gotten a lot of examples of people that you've seen as potentially successful doing things in a way that they were okay with, but doesn't sit well with you. Don't ever go down someone else's path, right? It's helpful to see and have perspective on the way that other people have approached things. But if it doesn't feel right to you, then keep contemplating your path and what does feel right to you. And you're going to find a way to kind of move forward very passionately, and it's going to bring you a lot of happiness and a lot of success. But it's not by doing things the way that somebody else may have done them. Especially if this is related to any level of immoral behaviors that helped other people gain a sense of success, because that never is actually success, is it? You're going to choose the right path for you. And it just took a slowdown period, Gemini. That's what you needed to see. Okay. Anything else? Any other advice for my Geminis? Okay. Clear your mind, Geminis. Allow yourself to have some silence. That also goes back to where we started with the Hermit, with what you need to see for right now is that quiet meditation time. It's all going to come together for you. You have a level of abundance coming in, and you have intensity coming in too, like a passion, a motivation, a drive. You're going to start a brand new adventure in this life, and it's going to come in fairly quickly when you're ready. But it's going to take this slowdown period. It's going to take trusting your intuition. It's going to take this level of silence until you're ready to come out of hermit mode. Because if you wouldn't be able to clearly think if you tried to put yourself out there right now. Come up with what is right for you first and contemplate in a positive mindset, knowing that anything and everything you want is possible. And pay attention to the signs, because you are going to be getting a lot of signs, Gemini, as to how you should move forward. Please make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I love all of you so very much. And as always, go do something good for yourself today. Bye, Geminis.